Welcome to Offensive, where the Pope has ordained that every NFL quarterback has to play like Caleb Williams. It's either a falling away, toe tapping touchdown or catch on the boundary, or you just throw the ball 40 yards away past your receiver.
That was by far the worst pressure that he had. The entire game was on that last play, fourth down. He had 3 Rams barreling down on him. He just kept drifting back further and further. And then he's like, oh, wait, I have a Notre Dame boy on my team. I should probably lob it over to him. The Pope told me to.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, the ball was in. It felt like it was in the air for 5 minutes. It was in the air, and it was. I mean, it was Caleb has a strong arm. We got to give him credit. That's a crazy pass that most people can't throw. There's maybe like five quarterbacks in the league that could even make that pass. It's probably like Caleb, maybe Jordan Love, maybe Stafford could make that pass, maybe or something, right? Like people that have insane arm talent. And he threw it into a good spot, obviously, where the guy kicked a jump ball. But the camera pans over. And there's like all the Rams players are just like, sitting like they're looking from, it looks like they're watching from the sideline and just watching him catch it. Like, oh, hey, good catch, buddy. And you're like, wait, was I supposed to cover that guy?
Cole Kmet, wait, you're still on the team? What the hell?
And of course, when we see the play from that angle of Cole Kmet, they're both tied up and he pushes off of them. And the guy, when he pushes off of them, just kind of stands there like, I don't need to do nothing. I'll just stand here. And then he kind of goes, oh, I better try to cover him. And so that play is 100% Cole Kmet making a big play. Like, of course, Caleb's throw was good. It was a good throw. But he kind of just threw it up for grabs just in that general area, right? It wasn't like he threw it to the corner of the end zone for a perfect, precise throw. Just a throw, a nice throw for a Hail Mary, basically type throw. Definitely a Hail Mary type pass. And Cole Kmet is 100% Cole Kmet. You should, if the Bears won, they should have named a fucking street after Cole Kmet. You know what I mean? Like that was one of the best end zone wide receiver tight end moves of all time. Of just being like, you get out of here, and then I'm just by myself, and the ball just falls in my hands.
Oh yeah.
And I heard the announcer say it was one of the best like plays all time or whatever. But it's 90% because Cole Kmet just threw the dude off of him and just fucking he just ragdolled the guy.
He nudged.
And it wasn't like an illegal PI where he kind of really pushed him hard. It was just kind of like he barely did anything.
Oh yeah, yeah. It wasn't blatant. It wasn't like what happened in what was that the Lions game at the end of the year? You know, where it's an obvious.
I thought for sure he like did PI and just threw the guy, but it was like he barely did anything to him.
Oh yeah, no, it's just an amazing play. You know, we've had him all season long. It was difficult explaining to my 7-year-old after the game. He said, "I wish the Bears would have won." I'm like, son, you have no idea. This is the most exciting it's been since I've been 6.
That's true.
Bears fan. I said, Bears lose every year. We don't get, even when we made it to
show them this video.
The Bears still suck.
Hey, Bears fans, clip this. Put this on your Twitter page, baby.
I love Matt Ramage. I knew he was going to do that.
Get something.
I knew he was going to do that in the game, so I clipped it for you, Dave, just for fun shit talking. But yeah. You normally, son, the Bears suck really bad. They're in the divisional round. This is making, we're happy with this.
All right, well, and this is where, it was an incredible game. We had said the other night that one of the keys for the game was having Kyler Gordon back, having Gardner Johnson there, and we needed to see that nickel blitz, right? And they were able to get the pressure on.
Their defense played Stafford by far well enough to win the game.
Yeah, they even said at halftime we had 3 sacks on Stafford in the first half, which was the most that he's had in the first half this season. I'm like, I'm a Bears fan. I'm used to seeing like 4 or 5 in the first half. That was all of our 2024 season. So yeah, our defense showed up. Dennis Allen, he was a lot more aggressive this week versus what he was versus Green Bay in the first half last week, and it definitely showed.
Yeah, I don't think you guys got any turnovers in the game, but you did stop them. It's usually you just get turnovers, but this time you actually did a good job of 258 yards for Stafford is kind of a little bit on the low end, or like
less than 50% completion percentage.
Yeah, look at that. And
for the MVP.
And so
touchdowns.
You can't see it here on this page, but both Stafford and Caleb had like a 50 quarterback rating, like around 50 or 60. Both of them were not good for a quarterback rating.
Well, that's how Caleb has operated a lot of the season, though. right around 50%. But
And you had like I think 4.1 yards a rush, and the Rams had like 3.6 or
yep.
3.4. So you did run better than them, not like a huge gap, but um here we'll just switch
And I,
back.
I really love them pulling Tooney out, having him play left tackle. That didn't work so
And he
well
played
in the
really
Super
good.
Bowl. Yeah, he did fantastic against Verse and what like I didn't even hear anything about that on Friday. It's just all of a sudden they line out and his replacement at left guard, he played awesome too. So yeah, it was going a heavyweight D line. We held up really well against them. We were able to move the ball enough.
Tooney played at an all-pro level at left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
He was stonewalling Young. I thought Young was gonna cause trouble, and he didn't too much, a little bit. But yeah, the Bears defense played with energy and played with like drive, where they're like hitting people flying around. That's what you would want to see as a Bears fan. As a Packer fan, I was like, I don't want to see that. I want Devontae.
Well,
And then thank God Devontae caught that sideline pass. I was like, that's the sign from God that Devontae got a
oh
toe
yeah.
tapper.
Yeah, that's what I had explained to my 7-year-old. I'm like, when the other team has to make a ridiculously amazing catch in order to beat us, that's a good thing, son. That means they had to play ridiculously amazing to beat us. So that means that we played pretty damn well. Yeah, it had to be Devontae Adams. I'd rather see Devontae Adams do it to us versus Puka. He's kind of a punk. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm not.
Adams made that amazing play.
Puka did run some guys over, but that's the thing is like the Bears defense limited Devontae and Puka. Puka only had like I don't know 40 or
50,
50 yards or something.
yeah, 5 catches, 56 yards.
Mm.
And this is where he averaged over 100 a game. His projection was 95 in all the sports books, which I thought that was high, but I didn't think we'd hold him to 56.
Well,
But
the weather affected this game a
oh
lot.
yeah,
It seems.
but yeah, you saw that last critical play though, where they lined Puka in the slot. They had the tight end lined up outside of him, and then they had somebody else on the outside. And you see that the Bears, all we had was somebody covering the outside wide receiver. You saw Kyler Gordon was going to blitz, so he wasn't going to cover Puka. And you're like, they need 4 yards, and all of our safeties are 10 yards back. This is going to be a first down.
They should have done that all game. They should have literally at least once a drive, if not twice a drive, at least just have a gadget play for Puka to grab the ball for a 5-yard little slant or hook and then just run dudes over. I mean, not only would it do well for you, but he'd probably hurt dudes for some reason, he's just strong as hell. He can just run people over, drag them, whatever. He doesn't really fumble when he does it usually. He has a few times, but I mean, if I was the coach, I'd just be like, throw it to fucking Puka until you can't throw anymore.
Oh yeah, I found it interesting on the last drive. In overtime when they tried to take their deep shots for touchdowns, back to back they threw to tight ends. They didn't even give Puka or Adams a shot. Was that respect for how our corners were playing, or was that? I was kind of wondering what McVay was thinking.
I don't know, because watching Rams in the other games, they kind of do that. He does throw the ball over. He throws to his tight ends a lot in general. So I think that's just how they normally operate. And it's not, and the thing is, usually they're scoring more points and having the ball more, and Puka then gets the ball more. But you're right. They should have just thrown it to Puka more, because the guy just makes crazy stuff happens. I mean, you have to understand Devontae Adams is like an all-pro level receiver, but he's like a whole nother tier above him at this point in Devontae's career, because Devontae and
well, one of the things that the Bears had going for them is, the way how the Lions tore us up is the Lions have speed coming right off the line, Jameson, Williams, and whatnot. The Rams wide receivers, they're technical. Devontae Adams has never been a speed guy off the line. Puka Nacua isn't necessarily a speed guy. He's a strength guy and a technique guy. So because they're a little bit slower, that actually was more beneficial to the Bears cornerbacks, I thought.
Yeah, you didn't have to get worried about getting burnt by them. Like the Packers receivers are different. They're a little bit faster, so you're worried about the Packers, but not the Rams. But the thing is that they're strong enough where Puka can just stiff arm a guy and then run deep and get wide open, which he does a lot. So they still do have huge plays.
But the fun thing is, I just like pointing out that DJ Moore had a better game than Puka. He had a better game than Devontae Adams.
Well, except for that last play where he just didn't go for the ball, and he.
Well, that one was kind of odd because he probably didn't expect that to be there. He probably thought he was like the fourth read, and that was another one where Caleb, he stood there, he just had his feet planted. He didn't step into it. If you pay attention,
and I think the route was supposed to go deeper, so that's maybe why he got confused.
Yeah, because when you saw where the ball was going, you're like, no, that's about 5 yards too shallow. So I think if and again, laser arm, it's difficult to say. I've never had that. I don't know what the experience is. But if he would have stepped in, I think he could have driven it a little bit better to give DJ Moore a little bit better shot. Again, he probably thought he was going to get it, but that was
It kind
painful.
of
But
looks like
all in all,
while he was
Caleb,
throwing the ball, Caleb was like thinking, and just something happened while he was throwing it, and it was just kind of like unsurety or like
mhm.
or he predetermined where he was going to throw it, but the guy didn't get there in time, and I think DJ Moore looked confused, like he thought someone else was supposed to get it, but he should have at least because he saw the ball. He maybe he just didn't see it, but he was looking back.
Well,
DJ Moore was looking back at the ball,
by the time that he saw the ball was in the air, though, his momentum would not have allowed him to get
but he
anywhere
didn't really
near it,
make a
though.
move to go back at all. He just kind of stood there. You know what I mean? It was
Well,
very weird. Like in the slow mo replay, you can see he's looking at the ball and he's just kind of looking at it, and you're like, you should go back to try to get the ball.
well,
But I
yeah,
don't know.
he never would have had any shot to get anywhere near the ball, though. That's where,
Yeah,
it was
yeah, he
kind of
probably
it was
wouldn't, but
kind
he
of an
might have
odd
been
play.
able to hit the guy trying to catch it or something, and mess him up.
Yeah. But still, he had a pretty solid game, and I remember in the preseason after we drafted Colson Lovin, a lot of people around Chicago are saying, "Oh, we can trade away Cole Kmet. What can we get for Cole Kmet?" And a lot of people are also saying, "Okay, now that we have the other young wide receivers, should we try to trade away DJ Moore?" And the playoffs are proof of why you hold on to those guys.
Yeah, you
You,
need.
you
Yeah,
can never have enough depth. Cole Kmet is a fantastic number two who can step up to be a number one
well, the Pope
when
thinks
you
he's
need him.
great.
What's that?
The Pope loves him,
Oh yeah, the Pope absolutely loves DJ Moore. But yeah,
and
and
Cole Kmet, I mean,
Cole Kmet. Oh yeah, Golden Boy, right?
Golden Boy. Yeah. Uh,
But still, yeah, he's been a team leader. He's like one of the old, been with the team the longest. So yeah, it's just hopefully they bring everybody back. Hopefully they can just bring in a couple more defensive linemen. I love the scheme where it's blitzing the corners, being aggressive with Stafford and whatnot. And next year is going to be nuts.
dude,
Again,
you know what I was thinking while the Bears were defense was playing like with their hair on fire. They were playing well against the Rams. The Rams kind of looked like they were not playing well. The weather was affecting them. They were in their own head. They were just kind of in a funk. Partially, probably because the Bears were playing hard defense, maybe.
Mhm.
But I just think that they were also just shooting themselves in the foot as at the same time. And while I was watching this, I'm like, the Packers lost. They are probably going to lose Halfley to a head coaching position. It looks like, and
Mhm.
and you think Halfley's done a pretty good job, and I'm thinking like, yeah, but we need a defense that plays with their hair on fire all the time. Now the Packers defense did do that like 3 or 4 or 5 games of the season, but we need that like all the time and in the playoffs.
Mhm.
So when you watch these playoffs, even though the Rams defense didn't play that much like the hair was on fire, at times they did. They hit people laying down shoulders and like trying to stick them and stuff. They did enough to win the game. The Bears were much more aggressive on defense and just like
Oh yeah.
like shot out of a cannon, hair on fire, like aggressive attitude. Um, probably
Schematic.
help they're at home and they're used to the weather and they're like feeling like they're underdogs. Like all that probably helped. But if you want to win championships, that aggression and that like just like hair on fire, I'm going to tackle you and hit you hard and we're going to run to the ball and flow there is really important. And the Packers can't rely on
Now,
just
is
those
this a Packer
games.
reaction video? Because I thought we already kicked your ass, so I thought we were going to talk about teams that made it this week and not
Well,
make
I'm
this
saying the
Bears
Packers
Rams
need to
reaction about
do
the
better
Packers.
to that. And yeah, I'm saying the Bears.
I'm just saying, because if you want to talk about tonight, I thought the Rams, one thing that they did really well was, all season long, the Bears, we like to run to one side and then we cut it back and we run the other way. The Rams defense did a fantastic job of everyone collapsing down on that back, taking away that option. Like there was a 3rd and 1 where we ran it to the right. And then they knew they had their 2 linebackers on the offside. They had them shooting the gaps, the BC gaps, off the left side. They came in and they were able to get behind the blockers and stop Menungai for a loss in what was a really critical play. So I thought, they didn't get a lot of the sacks that you probably expected out of them, but I thought they played really strong fundamental defense. They were preventing the cutback, which is where we've gotten a lot of our big runs from all season long. So I
Yeah,
think Chris Shula, hats off for that. He had his guys in a lot of good
they
places.
are a
for
super
that.
high ranked run defense. I think they might have been the number 1 overall ranked defensive line by PFF in places this season.
Mhm.
If you combine run and pass, are very good against both of them. So I expected the Rams defense to play better than they actually did against the Bears. You guys did pretty good. Your offensive line actually did really well.
Mhm.
And I think that's what kept the game close because even with Caleb kind of throwing some misfires here and there, they were able to run the ball a bit and kind of keep the possession of the ball. I think one of those things with Stafford is eventually he gets out of his funk and he starts throwing well. Like you threw the toe tapper to Devontae, and he gets out of his funk and he goes back to being normal Stafford eventually. You know what I mean? So you don't want him to do that. You want to keep the ball out of his hands and not let him get in a rhythm. And I saw lots of reaction videos of Chicago fans freaking out on that fourth down, like touchdown pass, and everyone's like freaking out. But I was like, how many games in a row can the Bears like do multiple miracles? A miracle in a regular
Well,
time
not
and in
not in a row. We
overtime.
kind of took a deuce the last 2 weeks of the regular season, but yeah, well, we it's just belief, man. It's faith. It doesn't matter what the hell's going to happen. We're just going to bust our ass. We're going to see what happens, and they never give up. Like I said before, Goonies never say die, man. The Bears are the
Yeah,
Goonies.
they're the cardiac bears, is what they are. People calling them. Yeah, it's quite an exciting game. Who do you think on the Bears had the best game that like basically was like the thing that allowed them to keep go all the way to the end?
For that, Brisker was all over the place. He was making a lot of tackles in the backfield. He was making a lot, they were running out to the outside and he was knocking down running backs, wide receivers, for almost no gaming and whatnot. So he was huge. Like I said, Kyler Gordon, he did fantastic on getting pressure on Stafford. He definitely got in Stafford's head. But yeah, I think it was those two. I'd say Brisker a little bit more, but just the secondary is fantastic. Again, Dennis Allen, he schematically did an amazing job tonight. And maybe the Bears next season, I want to see us try to go after a couple of D linemen that can maybe get a rush, kind of like what the Seattle does, and just go for a 6 DB look. It's working for the Seahawks. They're able to blow teams up. I think we got enough guys out there to where we can do it.
Yeah,
We kind of
Seattle
we kind of
has
got we kind of got older safeties, but
yeah. Seattle has a really good secondary. So like when they have corners that can just man up on guys, especially the number one corner. He might be the best corner in the league right now, other than Certain maybe or something. But yeah, Seattle's got a good secondary. And if you can one-on-one cover guys and you can put in, you know, play 5 or 6 DBs, like how can you get anybody open? It's really tough to have
mhm.
anybody open. And then if your defensive line can actually get some like penetration there, like I think, it's a copycat lead. People will start probably copying Seattle because they've had so much success with that there. Um, and play and maybe get more guys that are like strong safety nickel dudes that can come in and play as like a dime backer that can tackle decent, but they're not that big. The game,
Mhm.
because the league is just becoming more and more pass heavy as we go. But
But
yeah, that's
that
really interesting. Brisker's their strong, your strong safety, or yeah, your strong.
Yeah, and I think Collinsworth, he actually brought it up a good point in the overtime when he's like, who would have thought that one of the most prevalent things, if the Rams are able to make it to the Super Bowl, that the big story has been their 13 formation, and the Bears run it a lot too. So in the year where it's pass heavy, 13 formation is starting to be more prevalent. And I brought it up halfway through the season, even with the Bears and the Rams doing it quite a bit. I think it's fantastic. And Seattle, when they go head to head against the Rams, they stay in their base formation, even with all those DBs. They're like, no, we don't care. We're going to cover them. We got tall enough DBs to where I think it's a fantastic direction to go. And because they have the number one rush defense in the league, even though they run a whole lot of nickel and dime. So I think
Yeah,
we have enough guys in the secondary to do it. We just need 2 or 3 more hogs up front to help with the pressure.
and you mentioned like having a fullback. I think fullbacks are so smart though, because you can run a bootleg, you can run play action and stuff, and that fullback can pick up somebody that's blitzing or somebody that's breaking through the line. And that's old school football that we used to see like 10, 15 years ago in the
Mhm.
league. Like our Packers had John Kuhn and the Bears had fullbacks and all these stuff, right? And it was like fun to see those guys hit each other, Mike Allstats of the world, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Um, It would be cool to see that. People got really excited when was it Monunga that when he was running and not hitting people, like people got really it pumps people up. It gets people
Oh yeah.
excited when someone's running hard and knocking guys over.
Well, look at Juszczyk in the Niners. Look at the running back that you have out there in Baltimore, where they had that, almost 300-pound fullback. It does help the run game, even though the Niners, their rushing attack wasn't that great. Juszczyk is still able to make plays out in space versus, and I think just having that shorter build where it's like maybe 6 foot, 300-pound, that just helps with leverage versus when you put a 6'5", 245-pound tight end in there to try to block. They aren't able to generate the same kind of energy to drive somebody up and in to, get you those big gaps in when you're trying to run inside. So, yeah, I think that'd be a fun addition too, but I don't know. It's just the sky's the limit next season. It's a whole hell of a lot of fun. This is, Bears football. When we lost to the Niners, I don't care. This is the most fun that we had. We were only supposed to win 8 games this year. Can't wait to see what happens next year. Screw the Packers. We hate you guys. We're going to get 2 out of 3 again next year if you can make it into the playoffs. I don't know. Life is good, my friend.
You are playing with house money, but next year teams are going to have their target on you, and there's going to be a little bit more pressure. It might not, and Nick Bearden mentioned the Washington Commander situation where it's like you win all these games at the end of the game constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of the game, not so good. End of the game, and it's like now. On the other hand, Caleb is just throwing these awesome passes at the end and has the arm strength to do it, but it is really hard to keep up that luck, but you kind of make your own luck. You put yourself in those positions where you can win the game.
Caleb doesn't run like Jane Daniels did. Jane Daniels was running a whole hell of a lot. He got like 900 yards rushing, and he's built like a twig. Caleb, he's got, like we said before, he's got that base, and so he's got power in there. So I think he'll be able to hold up. But still, again, we're gonna get you guys 2 times again next year. Well, Lions, we might actually get 1 of 2 from you next year.
There's Micah. You've never beat us with Micah Parsons on the field, and I have a Micah Parsons jersey on, so we'll just remember that. And your record against us with Jordan Love starting is not good. We're winning those numbers and everything too. But I try to be harsh on the Packers. I try to be harsh on the Packers because I want to be really honest. I don't want to just like say, oh, the Packers are good at this when they're not. But I think next year, when Micah Parsons on the field, that Packers defense plays a whole different way than when he's not on the field. So I feel like it's going to be a very exciting year. And the Bears don't have anybody on their defense like Micah that can just wreck a game, but they did play well as a team today. And that's what the Packers need to do. And that's why I brought it up earlier. It's just that watching the Bears play as a team and play with their hair on fire and stuff like that, the Packers have done that a little bit here and there, but you need to do it when it matters and in the playoffs. And so, the Bears fans, you guys can brag a bit because you made it 1 step further in the playoffs and you beat us and everything. But next year, Mike is going to be back right here, number 1. All right, he's getting paid like $800 bazillion. So watch out.
Bear down, bitch.
No. So now that this game is over,
yes,
and the Bears are going to Cancun to meet up with the Packers players and have some drinks and whatever, and enjoy the warm weather. This Bears season, what are the takeaways from this Bears season as like the good points for the Bears and the weak points?
I think we saw that our linebackers are weak. We're paying them a lot of money. We don't have a lot of depth there. And again, that's why I kind of like to say that we saw with picking up CJ Gardner-Johnson, that if we have enough DBs now, Nashawn Wright was able to make enough plays to where why not just try to switch over to the nickel defense, nickel base. Austin Booker, 6'4", 6'6". He made some plays later on in the season. He got a little bit stronger, which you like to see. Our D tackles, Billings, he's that 335 pound or whatever. He's got to eat a goddamn salad. He's too fat to be impactful. We need to go. We need to get D tackles that are only about 300 pounds. Cam Hayward, only 295. He's disruptive and he can last a long time. Get rid of the fat guys. Dennis Allen likes him big. I want big and strong. I don't want fat and slow. I feel like I'm going to go on a Dennis Leary rant there about fat guys.
You do need to. You need to upgrade your linebackers and you need to upgrade your D line. That's true.
But I think the play calling that we saw tonight against a schematically great offense, Great game plan. Dennis Allen, I loved when we signed him because he's already been the head coach. He's not going to get a head coach chance anytime in the next 3-4 years. So I think he's going to be there to help build the foundation. I think the future is bright. The offense, we're building, we're learning together. Caleb's going to take more steps next year. Hopefully he advances as much this year to next year as he did last year to this one. We don't know what the schedule is or anything else, but I think we could probably duplicate 10 wins as our floor.
Yeah, that's really introspective. I have these thoughts.
Hey, Bears fans, clip this. Put this on your Twitter page, baby. Hey, have fun in Cancun. Did I do it right?